Okay, I'm just going to say this. I officially stopped caring about most of the mainstream music in 2021. Part of it can be attributed to TikTok becoming a major factor in what charts on the top spots these days, but it's also a matter of me getting bored of checking out what music is currently popular. And another thing, I'm no longer going to play the songs in my video. I've had just about enough of my videos getting claimed by these music companies who don't care about fair use. I know it won't be the same experience, but I'd really rather not have advertisers make money off of my content. So, let us commence with the top 10 worst hit songs of 2021. Number 10, Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo. Getting a driver's license is a pretty big step of independence for most teenagers. They can now go to places by their own accord without relying on their parents, their friends, or public transportation. As such, there's a lot of potential for a song to be about how it feels like to finally get one. Maybe she's always dreamed of being able to drive to her favorite locations. Maybe she wants to be that friend who provides transportation for other friends in a school activity they're participating in. Maybe her parents would take her on road trips when she was a child, and then her father passed away, which drove her to pursue her driver's license, as her father would have been proud to see her get one. And she's still thinking about him as she's going out for her first drive after being licensed. Or we could just have a sappy breakup ballad that screams high school with how she's not over it and constantly drones on about false promises and how she still thinks about him, all with a repetitive piano melody to drive the angst home. Yeah, that works. Funny thing is, she even mentions that her friends are tired of listening to her, which is a blatant sign that she's been way too hung up over this breakup. I'd give her credit for acknowledging this if she didn't immediately dismiss their complaints, since they never knew him like she did. Of course, this song only blew up thanks to the likes of TikTok. There was much potential to be had with the topic of driver's licenses, but alas, the most cliche route this song went. Number 9, Bane by AJR. If this song is titled Bane with an exclamation point, why does it lack the punch to make it hit as hard as it tries to? Well, the production is to blame here, as it involves an incredibly stiff piano that sounds too jarring for my taste. The trumpets kick in during the chorus, and there are several triplets of the word Bane being shouted, and the energy they create feels more artificial than genuine. Perhaps the appeal of Bane is that the artists don't want to grow up, thus explaining the silly atmosphere generated by the production and the lyrics. But if they truly want to go out with a bang, I expect a bit more understanding of what it means to become an adult aside from moving out, doing taxes, and remembering passwords. Number 8, Little Bit by Nelly and Florida Georgia Line. Remember when these guys teamed up for a remix of Cruise back in 2013? Yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing collaboration between them. Unfortunately, FGL is putting in way less effort in their 2021 hit song, as he sounds pretty uninvested in his bragging and hitting on a girl. He throws in a reference to Shake Your Tail Feather, as if we needed to be reminded of that nonsensical mess of a hit song from Nelly. The production follows suit, as the only thing it has going for itself is a banjo and a whole lot of processing on everything else. And Nelly calling himself the Black Tom Brady, I find that hard to believe. Overall, Lil Bit is just an uninteresting waste of time that makes me miss just how cringeworthy Cruise was. At least this is far from the worst song by a country artist this year. Number 7, Beautiful Mistakes by Adam Levine featuring Megan Thee Stallion. Boring, boring, boring! These are the three. Wait, didn't I literally say the exact same thing last year regarding Adam Levine's memories? That means I have nothing new to say about Beautiful Mistakes, or any other Adam Levine song in the future. I mean, Megan Thee Stallion is basically an alternate version of Cardi B when it comes to Adam Levine's featured rappers having way more personality than he could ever hope to reclaim for himself. Is it shooting fish in a barrel for me to include Adam Levine's songs on these lists? Yes, and I don't care. Next! Number 6, Back in Blood by Pooh Shiesty featuring Lil Durk. That rap name you chose for yourself is not something to be proud of, Pooh Shiesty. No wonder Lil Durk had to carry this song for it to see any of its success. Pooh Shiesty resorts to no less than 32 ad-libs throughout this song to compensate for something, by which I mean his lack of personality on this track. Even as he goes on about murdering people, his flow is just not compelling to listen to whatsoever. The stiff piano in the background playing the same 9-note pattern over and over does the song no favors as well. Lil Durk's flow sounds more interesting, and he actually knows how to mix up the ad-libs, but this song was already so mediocre to begin with that he's not salvaging it anytime soon. And Pooh Shiesty? I'd watch out for the specific details you give when you rap about killing people, especially when you claim that others are faking their murderous boasts. That might get you arrested if what you say turns out to be based on a real crime you committed. Number 5. Lonely by Justin Bieber and Benny Blanco. Oh no, Justin Bieber's had it rough growing up in the entertainment industry and now he wants our pity. Yeah, after 2020 gave us Yummy and Intentions to contend with, it's pretty hard for me to muster up much sympathy for him, especially with another one of his songs further down this list. I don't have too much to complain regarding the production, but everything else in this song I certainly do. JB has never been good at emoting, and even on the somber track, it shows. He still sounds the same as he does on all of his other hit songs from his album. And oh boy, that post-chorus where he stretches out the O in Lonely. That's pretty hard for me to listen to. Regarding the lyrics, yes, it's always tough for child stars to put up with all the pressure from their managers and their fans and their haters. However, not only did JB himself not have it nearly as rough as other child stars did, he hasn't changed for the better after his initial rough phase several years back, which again, makes it hard for me to feel sympathetic towards his upbringing. And like I said, he's got another terrible song down this list, so let's just move on from this. Number 4. Up by Cardi B. The word up is said in this song a grand total of 45 times! And the chorus repeats that word 12 times for each one. I think you can see why Cardi B quickly becomes very annoying to listen to before the first chorus ends. Apparently the phrase, if it's up then it's stuck, is meant to be southern slang for an issue that won't cease until it's settled. If that's the case, then it's very fitting, if only for how repetitive this song is. Cardi B is also a huge hypocrite on this song, too. On the second verse, she insults other women, calling them a dirty-ass, dusty-ass bitch with pink eye, and that their breath smells like horse sex. Almost immediately afterwards, she follows that up by rapping that a guy ejaculated onto her butt and she liked that, along with her admitting that she'd have sex with the guy's twin if he had one. I don't know about you, but hypocrisy like this is not gangsta whatsoever. WAP didn't need to resort to such abrasive repetition for it to be a decent song on its own. Number 3. Way Too Sexy by Drake featuring Future and Young Thug. Look what you made me do, Drake. You got me to put you on my worst list once again. So what's he doing this time? Why, he's sampling Right Said Fred, of course. Oh, that's why he was absent from my 2017 list. It's because Taylor Swift used the same sample that year. And honestly, the usage of such an asinine sample alone is enough to put Way Too Sexy up on this list. It's a very lazy use of the sample too, as it first uses the original chorus verbatim, then proceeds to hammer the phrase too sexy throughout the entire Forsaken song. All the while, the original sample is still used as part of the background vocals. Talk about relying way too much on an already terrible sample for your song. Future and Young Thug's verses are the same old bullshit, but there's one particular verse from Drake's that stands out, for that he claims to be way too sexy to go unprotected. Very titillating considering that he had an unplanned child with a retired adult film star in 2017. Geez, that's an awful lot of 2017 references I've made, haven't I? Well, sure beats any other reference to Right Said Fred, that's for sure. Number 2. Holy by Justin Bieber featuring Chance the Rapper. Most songs that try to mix religion and sex together just come off as corny in the least endearing way possible. Justin Bieber's Holy is no exception, constantly flip-flopping between being oh so seriously committed to his religion and celebrating his sexual conquest in the weakest way possible. He slurs the phrase hold me to try to make it sound like holy, which, needless to say, only adds to the cheesiness of this song. And you gotta love how he has the audacity to declare that he hates being fake on the second verse with how ingenuous his love songs are, especially with Yummy and Intentions. As per Chance the Rapper, he does not belong here at all, as not only does he fail miserably at singing, his rapping makes the song even more stupid with how painfully hard he squeezes religious reference after religious reference into his verse. The most annoying part has to be those freaking vocal shouts on the phrase, "Oh God," and they constantly plague the last part of the song after Chance's verse. And to top it off, the production is so damn monotonous. Quite frankly, I'm done talking about this song, for that it can go to hell for all I care. Hey, if JB continues to be embarrassingly corny, then I deserve the easy way out. Number 1. Fancy Like by Walker Hayes. I refuse to believe that this is an actual song. With all the product placement scattered throughout the verses, this is an ad that has found a way to bypass ad block. In fact, it got used in an Applebee's commercial, and then what do you know, TikTok dances happened, and now this asinine ad has blown up and then some. All the processing done in the production makes the ad sound sludgy, and Walter Hayes himself spends most of this ad not actually singing so much as talking through his verses. It makes him sound even more of a sleazy dumbass than he already does with these lyrics. I don't think most girls would appreciate being referred to as low maintenance, but what do I know? I'm not some bro country meathead like Walker Hayes. He actually thinks the sound of styrofoam squeaking in the truck is brag-worthy, which I don't even. He mentions kissing without tobacco in his mouth, which is pretty disgusting because it means that he already had tobacco in his mouth prior to kissing his date. And of course, he spends most of the song squeezing in product placements one after another. Honestly, I don't even want to say any of the other names of the specific products that are name dropped, because that's just how disgusted I feel regarding this song. So instead, I'll just summarize Fancy Like as, oh, I don't really need to be all that expensive to live that lifestyle. While Sam Hunt still remains the country king of degenerate songwriting, Walker Hayes takes product placement, disguises it as a song, and then lets TikTok do the rest of the work. Congratulations, you corporate shell of an artist. The L-iteral one this is, and I'll be back for the best songs list.